This is Bloody Puddles, and by far one of the hardest maps and definitely my least favorite map out of all of them. So let's take Churchill, and I'm going to try to get Homeland Defense together so we have like this weird super buff Churchill thing. So let's get into it. We're starting off here with a pretty good early game. We're going to be getting Churchill on round 29, which is very early. I did a video like this a while ago and it was not very good. Churchill got some buffs recently, but in the meantime Condor is now unbugged, and I did have the bugged version of Condor in that, so Condor was a lot stronger compared to in that video, plus some other nerfs. So overall I feel like it's going to be roughly the same amount of difficulty because that bugged Condor really did a lot of work. So we're going to be seeing kind of what I can improve and all. The early game definitely is going to be an improvement, and now we're going to be pushing for the Dartling Gunner. Because we're going straight for the Homeland Defense, I'm going to do a double discount early game, which is going to be pretty tough because that means I'm going to be getting bads way later. If I were to just do like a 2-2-0 or even an 0-2-0, then I would have gotten bads super early and I could have just cruised through a lot of everything. But we're going to be getting bads late, so there's a lot of mid-game rounds that were actually kind of annoying. But once I got that, the rest of the mid-game was pretty easy. Well, more so like early into mid-game, kind of around there. But yeah, just moving into the bads, that's the 204 Dartling Gunner. That thing can like shoot across the entire map. It's actually really strong. And with Churchill, it should be able to do pretty well. So with bads acquired and a decent amount of cash spare, we're going to be then going for the overclock. And for most of the game, I'm actually going to be overclocking the bads because that's just going to be better. Mostly because I need to really take out the entire other side where Churchill can't reach. So we're going to have that, and we're going to be able to beat round 63 pretty easily. I just need some micro because sometimes those leads would just destroy all of the projectiles of the bads and then you might just die. So it was a little trickier than I thought, actually, to be honest. But we got overclock now, so that's all good. And then now we can try to go for our village. Homeland Defense is kind of expensive. We should be able to get into the MIB and Call to Arms pretty easily, but ideally I'd get the Homeland Defense around round 84, something like that, and then everything should be pretty cool. So we're pushing into the 80s, and now I have to get the Condor here, and this is where everything falls apart. Just for a a bit of some insight, or to spoil it, I guess, I do not end up getting homeland defense, and it's just like a kind of struggle to survive. Although honestly, it wasn't as bad as that original attempt, but I'm kind of blame this one on Condor. Like, Condor just absolutely sucked, like, in this run. It was so bad, and I did not like it. I was talking with some people after doing this, and they said just on Bloody Puddles, Condor can be like really weird, with like multiple lanes and lanes that shift like from side to side. It just doesn't really work sometimes, and I noticed that a lot. Like, you'll see there, it could grab those BFBs, bring them to the right spot, but a good amount of the time, especially at the beginning of the round, it will just like sit there flapping its wings on top of all of them, and it just does nothing, which made me super frustrated. I feel like if it would just do what I wanted it to do, then it would work out way better, and I guess that's why having the bug Condor really helped last run, because it could just pick up all of this stuff and then move it over anyways. Ideally, everything would be like moved over, at least most of the BFBs would be moved over to the top where Churchill is right next to, and then you could use CTA and just like rip apart everything, but things are moving slow, and if I had known this, I probably could have planned it out a little bit better. After 94, things started to become a bit of a struggle more. That's where I ended up getting the Dark Knight to go over to the other side just to clean up literally everything that can't be moved over. So that was kind of big. If I had known about that before, I think I could have fixed a few things up. And then also on top of that, I feel like adding Glyke would have been a lot better, and in a way maybe even not having Condor at all in the first place would have done something. Churchill can actually reach on the other side of lanes 2 and 3 for the rounds in there, not when it's on lane 5, but actually could do some stuff. So I'm thinking that no Condor might actually be optimal in this situation, which is kind of crazy. But the Dark Knight with the CTA buff actually works out pretty well, because it gets the pierce that it needs, and it can like actually stop a lot of stuff. But without the pierce buff, it's actually not that good, kind of disappointing. So yeah, on top of that, a lot of these other rounds were just hard, and it required a lot more effort than I thought. I definitely think I still could have cut some stuff out. I also did not buy the the first strike until way later, which if I had that earlier, I feel like I could have done a little more something. But also in a way, if I went for Glyke instead of a R-Glue, then I think I could have cut out the first strike and got something cheaper. So just like other improvements overall that could possibly be made. But this was so annoying, and Condor really just made me go insane. Like, as you can see there, on round 98 specifically, it did not move a lot of stuff. So I eventually, in the middle of the round, just had to set it back there and just pulled a lot of these Moabs as the fortified BFBs as possible, so they just slowly went down to Churchill, and the Dark Knight could take care of it. I planned out the 100 well at least, so we took that out super easily, but like I said, I feel like there was just a lot of room that could have been opened on 100 that I did not really take advantage of. But anyways, that was that. Only 17k spare, which is not really that good, but here's a guitar solo.